Hi, I'm Danner. I'm a computer engineering student from Huntsville, Alabama. When I was a kid, my family built this shed in the hills of southern Tennessee. It sat dormant for nearly 20 years and began to deteriorate. I'm currently on a mission to restore the shed and convert it into an amazing tiny house. With the help of my dad, I'm learning the basics of construction, restoring the land, and documenting our story. This is Abandoned Shed to Tiny House.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you saw the last video, our neighbor Shannon came out and helped us cut down this giant cherry tree, and we're going to be using this for some interior projects. And we also ended up cleaning up a bunch of it. We still have a little bit left, but we have a big pile of firewood over there that we're going to be using. We also talked to some people about possibly using their sawmill, so things are starting to get rolling on that, and we should have some exciting stuff coming out here soon with that. But today we're actually going to be heading inside, doing some interior projects. We have a little bit of framing left to do, so let's just go ahead and head inside and we'll talk a little bit more about it. One of our framing projects will be just continuing this overhang just to go up and around the roof. So that's going to be something we do another day. So let's go inside. All right, so last week we were up here for just a little bit because I had a bunch of schoolwork that I had to get done, but the first thing we got done was just cutting out some of these pieces of wood that we're going to be using for our front wall. You might remember we mentioned that we're going to be adding 2 windows right here and just making it a wall because we're moving our door over there. So this is all going to go. Cut these, I'll play a little clip of that in a little bit, but the cool part about this is it's actually going to fit right inside this gap where the doors are. So you'll see that a little bit later. If you guys have been watching for a while, you might remember when we took down the original lean-to roof, there were a bunch of rafters that we say we were going to use for a future project, and we dug out some of those and we're going to be using them upstairs. So let's go upstairs and I'll show you what we're going to use them for. All right, so we really just have a few more framing projects left to do upstairs. The first one will be our back wall. We'll have to remove some of these studs and put a door in right there. You might remember our trap door. And we also have to reframe the front wall too, and that'll be pretty much exactly the same as what we're doing downstairs. But the main thing we're gonna be doing is creating some collar ties to create a flat ceiling in here, and we're just gonna be reusing those 2x6 rafters to do that. So let's go ahead and head down and start cutting some wood. All right, so we just finished up all these collar ties. Most of the boards were actually pretty straight. A couple of them had a slight bow in them, but we're not too worried about it. And we also just temporarily screwed them in case we need to make any fine adjustments later. So what this will allow us to do is put in lights in the ceiling, and also we can run wire up and above through this gap if we have to. Really, other than the front wall and the back wall, we have to do the knee wall around the side and then the closet and the chase. And that should be it for framing for upstairs. All right, it is smelling really good in here. We started making our chili and it's actually almost done, so we're about to take it off the heat. But this is actually my dad's recipe. It's really good, and I'm actually gonna put the recipe down in the description if you guys want to make it yourselves. And also, I'll put a link for my dad's book, The Healthspan Solution. He has a bunch of really good and healthy recipes in there, so if you guys want to check that out, link down in the description. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead and start cleaning up over here because it's time to start framing in our front windows. So we're just gonna clean up all this stuff and then get to work framing. right, so it is chili time now. Taking a little break, gonna have our chili, but the door is off, got some of the T111 off. The part that actually took the longest was pulling out all the old staples and nails and broken screws. We have about an hour and a half left of daylight, so we're gonna have to speed through the rest. So we're just gonna be framing up that front part and then knocking down the rest of that T111, and then we can put up some fresh OSB. So that's the plan, and it's pretty much our only option because we can't leave here with a giant hole in the front. So let's enjoy our chili and then get back to work. Recipe in the description. All right, so we just got wrapped up with our front wall windows, and this is actually just a little bit different than I'm used to because all the other things we framed, it's just been building it on the ground and then lifting it up. But this one, we just decided to build it in place. And it was actually a little bit challenging for me to toenail in the nails using the framing nailer, but we got it figured out and I think it looks really good. Now the next thing we have to do is just take off the last 2 sheets of T111 and then put up some OSB, and then we should be good to go. Did get a little bit dark on us, but we have these cool lanterns. I didn't really like these at first. I was like, Dad, why are we using these? LEDs are so much brighter and more efficient, but now I get it. Like just the warmth they give off is so nice, and just the color temperature. I don't know, there's just something about this that I actually kind of like now. So let's just go ahead and start putting up our OSB. All right guys, so we just finished up with all the sheeting on the front. Starting to snow outside, which is kind of cool, but yeah, it all went pretty good. What I'm most excited to see is inside, to see how it changed the room. So let's go ahead and head inside and see what it looks like. All right, and now here we are inside. Definitely looks different, looks a lot different. Yeah, so this will be the new door, and Dad and I are planning on building a door ourselves, so that'll be really cool. But pretty much we're gonna be doing this exact same thing with the windows upstairs. It wasn't that bad, but doing it upstairs is probably gonna be a little bit challenging, so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with that. Overall, I think it looks pretty good, and this fire just is so nice. I can't wait to just sit down, fall asleep by this fire one day. So that'll be cool. But anyway, I think that's going to be a wrap for this video. We definitely went a little bit later today. We weren't planning on going into the night. I'm so happy with how all this turned out. And yeah, we're just going to be finishing up more stuff in the next video. So thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed. Thank you to everyone who's backed us on Patreon. And yeah, that's going to be a wrap. So I will see you guys in the next video.